Hi Sage, thanks so much for your week 5 work. Sorry it's taken a little bit of time to get back to you. I've had quite a bit of folio work to get through in the last couple of weeks. Um, so I've got it up on screen. We're just going to talk about some of the things that you've got on your page. Thanks for doing the checklist. I hope that it helped you to categorise your folio and think about the areas that you need to improve upon. The idea with the checklist here is to try and get everything in the same range because you just want to make sure that your both folios are of the same standard so that you're not brought down by one of your folios. So you can compare your SAT checklist here with my feedback on the email, and you can just sort of make a note about areas that are similar or different. Now let's go through your folio pages. I've already seen these two before, so I think they still are in the realm of they are design development, so but I just saw the video idea generation again with these two. So that's 2 folio pages already of design development for your logo, which is good. And then now we're moving on to the third. And I'm really pleased to see that you've taken some of my suggestions and made your logos a lot smaller so that you can get through a lot more ideas. Sorry, not ideas, I shouldn't use that term. You can get through many more options for your design development of this logo. I was reading through your annotations and just want to make sure that you're covering all of the obvious design principles and obvious design elements. So I think this is a good example of contrast because you've got this flat circle and flat tone that's been applied, and then you've got this highly detailed dragon. So I think this is a good example of contrast. You have talked about proportion, which is definitely evident as well. This type style, which is a serif font, which has got these lovely little squiggles on the end of the typeface of the letter form. Just make a comment about why you chose serif, and remember to always reference the audience when you're talking about why you've made a decision on using a particular element, in this case the element of typography. Moving on to, excuse me, something went down the wrong way. Moving on to this option, you've used type in a fairly creative way here. It's very random and higgledy-piggledy, but if you can make a comment on why you've done this, that would be really good. What idea, what effect are you after by doing this? You've used colour, which is really good. Other things you can do too, Sage, is to play around with the thickness of the line. So whenever you've done line, you've just done single thickness, but think about a really thick outline here. Try some of those options. I know we've talked about that, but I still haven't seen evidence of that in your work. So when you are doing a logo design, you need to have a lot more than just 2 different type style versions here. So I'd like to see, at least kind of 10 more variations on type style here, with different line thickness, different colours, develop it a lot more than you have. Moving on to your magazine advertisement. I think I talked about this with you on the phone. We've got, there's 2 pages here. Really, your design development should have 6 pages at the very least. And really, you should be having at least 8 different thumbnails on each A3 page. So you can see here I've tried to draw little examples of thumbnails. This is the level of detail a thumbnail should really have. You've gone into way too much detail here, and what that in effect does is it slows you down and it doesn't allow you to move through lots of different layout options. Just to help you, I've pulled up Asta's work here. Now this is one of Asta's idea generation pages actually for a poster that she's done, and look, a poster's no different to a magazine cover, but can you see how Asta has just done sort of handwriting? But really what she's exploring here is using a lot of shape to indicate colours and places where she could put images. She's done a little bit of detail here to show a building, But can you see how each of these layouts is really, really different? She's gridded up the page, she's explored, you know, she's playing around with the page a lot and just using shape to sort of chop up the page. And I sort of want you to think about your magazine cover in those terms. And, you know, she's pulled back a lot here. This is like she's looking at the magazine from a great distance, from the poster from a great distance. Whereas I can see you've gone in really close and you're thinking about the details, probably a bit too much. We still want you to be working on composition and different layouts. So, you know, here I've shown cropping. You know, the dragon's been moved around. Here the dragon, I've only shown the head of the dragon. I've used scale here a lot to make the word now really pop out. In this one I've done the dragon on the bottom left and I've done a big sort of square shape at the top. You know, these are just 3 different layouts. I really want you to explore at least 10 to 15 layouts and really develop them. Keep it small. Don't put this amount of detail. Don't worry about colouring in the letter at the typography at this point. I want you to still think outside the box and be really creative with your layouts, with your development of your layouts. So I really think you've got to go in and do some more work here and print this page out or print this PDF out with some of these examples if that helps you. Again, there's 2 options here for your logo, which is great. And then there was 2 options here, so that's 4 in total. But really that's not enough for development. I want to start exploring things a bit more. So I hope that's made sense. Look at your results in the email feedback. You know, you're sitting in between a medium and a high. But if you want to get sort of into the very high range, that's what you're going to have to do to get there. And I think you're definitely capable of doing it. You know, even if you could come into the school or, you know, maybe we could sit down and we can go through exactly what you need to do, because I feel like you've sort of not understood from our last phone call to now what you needed to do. So please let me know if there's something you don't understand, because I really want to help you to achieve a much higher result, what you're capable of achieving.